One thing I always pride myself very, very well on for the World of Tanks Blitz community, especially on news, is keeping you guys informed on the newest, truest, and most honest information coming into the future updates, patches, and changes for World of Tanks Blitz. And oh ho ho, in today's video, do I have some huge banging news of new vehicles, changes, and everything that is going to be coming into World of Tanks Blitz, not only in Update 8.3, 8.4, but probably ranging upwards in the next year of vehicles coming out in the game, which is honestly amazing. It's probably the largest sum of stuff I've ever come up with to talk about in a video on news and changes like that. So we're going to be breaking straight into this. Now, of course, if you're new to the channel, or you like yourself some Droodles news information after watching today's video, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below, as only around 40% of the people that actually watch my content are actively subscribed. So make sure to click that subscribe button. Helps out the channel a crazy amount. Now, this information is grabbed by Commander Mass Media, which is a Russian media group for World of Tanks Blitz. And you know, I kind of thought this was kind of sketchy to begin with, but I looked at their other post from previous changes before the updates occurred, and honestly, 99% of the information they had posted before the updates was always correct. So, I very, very strongly approve and trust this information here, and we're going to be breaking into it in today's video. So let's start off with it. Now, of course, this is not going to be Update 8.3. If all of this was coming out, that would be insane, to say none the least. But, no, this is obviously multiple patches and updates coming into the future of World of Tanks Blitz, but it's cool that we still know the vehicles that will be entering the game. And the first one is the STA2. Now, basically, to what I'm aware, is this is just like a Tier 9 Type 61 hull that is then brought to Tier 8 with an STA turret. It doesn't seem anything impressive to me. The gun seems okay. It's got decent DPM. The penetration's good because it does carry an STA-1 gun. But overall, nothing really fantastic about the tank that I can honestly say. And it's probably, I don't even know if they're going to put this thing in crates. It's just kind of going to be like the T-25 Pilot 1, but a Japanese version. So nothing really fantastic about the tank, but maybe Wargaming will surprise us and they'll make it really special. We'll give it hydro-pneumatic suspension. You never know. The next we have is the T-3485M. Now, this tank is basically a T-3485. It's got, I think, a little bit better armor, and I think a teeny bit more DPM, but to negate that, it's got worse mobility or something like that. I know that it is regarded as a better T-3485 in World of Tanks PC. And the reason that I always know this distinct vehicle and the design behind it is because the butt, well, that's a really bad picture, but the butt, as you can see here, has a bit of an angle on the back, where the normal T-3485 doesn't have nearly as much of a slope like this one here. You can see the M has a much bigger kind of like butt that angles back. It's weird, but that's the different design. I don't really know what to expect about this vehicle either. There's actually a lot of Tier 6s that are listed here that are going to be coming into the game, and the next one would be the M4A3E8 Thunderbolt 7, which, funny enough, even though it says 7 there, is a Tier 6 medium tank. Now, this is kind of like a jumbo Sherman, and if we look at a picture here, it's actually got enhanced armor on the front of the vehicle. In fact, there is the M4E38 there. Yeah, as I said, it's kind of like a jumbo Sherman where it's got a little bit more armor. You can see that plate there. It's got a little bit more armor than your normal Easy 8s. So it's going to be fun, you know, using the 12 degrees of gun depression the normal Sherman gets. That's going to be fantastic. Seems like it carries that exact same 75, 76 millimeter that they normally do have. So honestly, I'm excited for this tank as well. But I do think that it's going to be a little bit slower, of course, because it is a jumbo Sherman variant. So it should be a little bit slower than your average Sherman. But I don't know. Just seems pretty fun. The camouflage looks great, and I'm expecting Wargaming to put that camouflage into Blitz as well, judging that it has the same name. Next up, we have the M56 Scorpion, a vehicle that I'm actually very excited for. This is honestly one of my more excited tanks in the game that's going to be coming. And the reason for that is because, sure, while this picture may not make the vehicle seem that small, kind of like the same size as a Waffenträger, well, it's tiny. Like, it's actually tiny. You can see here, this is the picture of a garage. Like, this is possibly one of the smallest tanks tier for tier in the game. It's literally a midget. But that's what makes it so cool, is that it's a tiny little tank, but it carries a 90 millimeter. And not only does it have a 90 millimeter, but it's got super high DPM, it's got fantastic camouflage, and because it's so light, it probably has one of the best power-to-weight ratios for a tank destroyer in the game. So I think it's cool, but it has literally, as you can see here, 1 millimeter of armor. So yeah, the tank probably only weighs a couple tons, if that. So it's great, but I don't know how it's going to be in the Blitz aspect, because as we all know, armor is something that you need in Blitz, because it's a much more fast-paced game. But there are vehicles like the E25 and the Jagdpanzer IV that are able to get away with fantastic camouflage and really deadly DPMs, so I'd like to see how this Tier 7 tank destroyer is able to perform. Making our way back to the list, next up we have the AMX Cannon d'Assaut 105mm. Now this is literally just a Kanonen Jagdpanzer 105, but French. You can see the design here. It's literally, that's it. So I don't really know what to expect out of this tank. I know on PC it's very similar to the Kanonen 105, but I think it's actually worse. This is like one of the worst tier 8s you can actually get your hands on. I could be wrong on that, but to what I'm aware, it's one of the worst performing tank destroyers. But I think it still looks cool, and in Blitz, I don't know how it's going to perform. Maybe they'll give it decent frontal armor, maybe they'll give it super high DPM, or a bigger alpha. Well, I guess they can't, because it does carry a 105, but we're going to have to see what this tank is like. So what I'm aware, it carries the same gun as an AMX-30B, just at tier 8. So is that good? Is it bad? I don't know. We'll find out when it does eventually either have these statistics released, or the vehicle is released in the future for the game. But oh, this is a tank I'm very excited for, the Bisonte C45. Now this is the first of the Italian auto-reloading heavy tanks that we'll be seeing in World of Tanks Blitz. Wouldn't it be ironic if they made it a single-shot tank? That would be really ironic, but where is it? There it is, the Bisonte C45. It's a very modern-looking tank. And honestly, you can see here, it looks amazing. I love the look of the Bisonte. And it's not only a very modern looking tank, but it carries a 3-shell auto-reloading gun, where it's able to deal, I think, 360 damage a shot with 3 shells, which is great. It's got 10 degrees of gun depression, fantastic armor on the front. It honestly looks really well armored. It's fast too. I think it goes 50 or 45 kilometers per hour. So for World of Tanks PC, it's an awesome looking vehicle, and I'd love to see this tank come into World of Tanks Blitz. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be a while away, but what I can say, and what usually is hinted at by when you see things like this, is the fact that the Bisonte is going to mean that there is probably going to be Italian auto-reloading heavies coming into the game, which is something that is very, very exciting. Now, one tank that I actually think I missed is the HWK-30. I think I completely skipped over that. So, talking about the HWK-30, this is literally an RU-251. Like, if you look at these pictures here, I bet you'd actually get confused and think, if I didn't give you any context, that that is an RU-251. But as you can see here, it's a little bit different looking than the RU-251. Actually, I think that's the same tank. Never mind, I take that back. But yeah, I actually don't know what the differences is. They probably carry the exact same gun as it looks like, but one's a premium and one's not. So I don't really know what to say about the tank. This is its stats on World of Tanks PC. So it's fast, I guess. It's got good gun depression, 70 kilometers per hour, 240 damage per shot. But just looking at the stats here, it honestly looks just like an RU-251. So I don't know what the differences are going to be. Maybe camouflage rating, mobility. You never know what Blitz is going to do. But I guess we are definitely going to find out. Only time will tell. And I accidentally went to a different page. Let's translate that back to English. Next up, we have the Jagdtiger. I don't know if that's the Tier 9 Jagdtiger or the Tier 8. I'm guessing it's the Tier 8 premium. We got the Panzerkampfwagen 3 and the Churchill 1 as the anime series of Girls und Panzer. Now, we obviously already have the PZ Onko. We've got tanks like the Hetzer Kame, and I don't remember what the other one is, the Tiger Kuramori Mine or whatever. Those 3 tanks are obviously all Girls und Panzers, and of course we've got the Kenny or whatever the Tier 2 is that's called the GUP. Those are all Girls und Panzer tanks. They're from the anime. So, these vehicles here, one of them either being a Tier 8 or Tier 9, Tier 3 and a Tier 5 are going to be coming into the game in their anime respective attributes, which is cool. We've already got, oh, and I forgot as well the IS-2 Pravda, and as well the shoot, what's the Saunders SP Firefly. There you go. I remembered a little bit, I guess. And then we've got weird tanks. We've got the ASUs. Now, these tanks are extremely interesting at that. They kind of look like this one almost looks like an artillery, but the ASU-85 looks like a Jagdpanzer IV to me almost. But these 2 tanks, I think this is the Tier 7. I think it's the 7, right? Yeah, one's a 7 and one's an 8. So I'm not sure if this is a line coming into the game, but this is the tier 7. It's very weird looking. Looks like it has literally 0 armor, though, as you can see. Almost like you literally just got a wagon and put tracks on it with an engine. And it's tiny, as you can see as well. But doesn't negate the fact that it's probably going to have a fantastic gun for a tier 7 vehicle. It's going to be very mobile, and kind of like the Scorpion I talked about earlier, it's probably going to be very similar to that type of playstyle. And the ASU 85 is also going to be very similar, it would appear. Now, I'm not sure how the armor is going to be on this one, because the armor actually doesn't look like it's bad. It's got an extremely well-angled slope, but for my judgment, I'm expecting this vehicle, again, you can see just how small it is, to not really have fantastic armor. It's not really going to have much at all. But you know what? It looks cool. It looks extremely cool at that. It's going to have a very good gun. This gun looks like, I don't really know what to say. Maybe not a 122mm, but kind of similar to the T54 gun. So basically like an SU-100M1 gun you'll be finding at tier 7, just brought up a tier, maybe with very high DPM, great mobility. I don't know. We've never seen these tanks in World of Tanks PC or console or Blitz. So this will be something new that I'd very, very much endure to like to see into World of Tanks Blitz. So those are basically all the vehicles in the game. And then actually, yeah, we went over these. So these PTASU may appear in the branch of development of equipment of USSR. I don't know, but either way, it looks like they're going to be tanks coming into the game. They look cool. I don't know why they're being added, if they're going to be a subdivision for getting up to the SU-122-54. But yeah, I don't know. There you go, guys. We got 2 weird Russian tank destroyers. Next up, we have Camouflages. All of these tanks are going to be getting historical styles of legendary camouflages. We got the Panzer IV-G, the Panther, Tiger 1, Hellcat, T-34, T-3045, Sherman Firefly, Cromwell, KV-2, M10 Wolverine, M36 Jackson, even though it already has one, Yag Panther, M46 and M48 Patton, the Sheridan, and the M103. Now, one thing I don't like all too much is the fact that certain tanks in this area already have legendary styles. Vehicles like the Sheridan Sidewinder already have a legendary camo, and the M48 Patton, like the M48 Patton, has 2 legendary styles, and the KV-2 has a legendary style. So why are you giving these tanks more when we could be making more styles for other vehicles in the game that don't necessarily have the fortune of getting legendary camouflages? So that's one thing I'd always like to question about the game, but I don't know, it's Wargaming's decision there. Finally, there will be body kits in the form of bushes and camouflage nets. If you're wondering what that means, if any of you have taken a look, I'm guessing if I try to look at my Blitz, yeah, it's not going to load. But basically, if any of you have taken a look at the latest Battle Pass tank, which would be the Churchill gun carrier, it has this giant, like, contraption that goes over the roof of it, the shield and all the spikes on the front, the stuff on the back, the sandbags, all of that is basically a test for this here. And that means that we are going to be seeing new awesome styles, kind of like the Jagdpanzer E100s, and styles that we see on World of Tanks PC that are legendary for Christmas events. Well, we might be seeing those coming into World of Tanks Blitz. It says the Super Hellcat will appear in containers, which sucks. I thought it was going to be an event tank, but no, seems that it's not going to be. The transfer of cards to PBR quality is planned after most of the equipment is transferred after the new quality. I'm not sure. Obviously, this is translated from Russian to English, so some of this is kind of not translated correctly, it seems, but seems like PBR is going to be a lot more in the next updates, as we already have like the E100 and IS-7 in the next changes as well. But this one I'm very excited for. Weather conditions in rain, snow, and fog will be changed in update 8.3, and compatibility with them will be disabled for older devices. So I'm very excited to see how they are going to rework the rain and everything like that, but that seems really cool. New historical map on the sea, pier, or port. There are no exact dates, but you will have to wait approximately in the winter. So I'd say maybe 4 or 5 months until that map is added. Sadly, we don't have that many maps added to Blitz. I would like maybe a map every 2 or 3 months, but no, it's like every 5 or 6 months. And I don't think that's bad because it takes a while to get used to every new map. We've got the new, what is it, the factory map, and that one's interesting. I still think a lot of players don't know where to push on it, and that's not good because, yeah, it does affect your battles every now and then. Then we have a new regime similar to Frontline in World of Tanks is being prepared next year. So a long time away, but battles will be held on maps 1,000 meters by 1,000 meters. Now, normal distances, I'd say, across the whole map is about 600 meters. So yeah, that's a huge map. And this event will take about 3 months. There was a conversation related to wheeled vehicles. Please don't add wheeled vehicles. I really don't want to see them, either as a mode or as a separate module. And there are rumors among the ST about a new smokescreen system. I also don't know about a smokescreen system. I don't think that's a smart idea, as World of Tanks Blitz is an arcade-based game, not War Thunder. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. All the changes coming into the game. These are big. Now, obviously, some of these are conversations and rumors. But for the most part, these here you can basically believe pretty well that are going to be coming into the game. Hopefully, all of you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.